I'll go over a few reasons why I decided to go live. I did not get to everything this morning in my update, and instead of doing a separate update here right now, I decided I would go live and see if anybody had questions, if anybody wanted to add to the discussion. So I think it'll be a very nice live here. And I'll do it as a normal update for like 20-25 minutes unless we have a back and forth. And then I'll extend this a little bit as well if there's, you know, an audience base that's willing to go back and forth or need some advice or whatever the case may be. So the reason I'm back here right now is we're going to go over XRP. The reason why I think there's a 71% chance roughly that we do end up going down to 49 cents now, or 49.8 cents. There are ways to invalidate this thesis. So don't think that this is a foregone conclusion. Don't think this is a guarantee, but there are several different reasons why I'm starting to build this kind of a thesis in my own head. One way to stop us from doing that is this is a very certain way to do this. Don't lose the 55.8 2018 resistance that's now acting as a support, and we don't have to worry about this. But I'm going to go over reasons why and what we need to do to invalidate this thought process for XRP. We do have 200 million XRP moving at the hands of Ripple to an unknown destination. So is that 200 million XRP, is that appropriate for a settlement agreement? Like, did they agree to that fine? So that's something that's interesting. So we'll have to talk about the 200 million XRP that's changing hands by Ripple. And it's quite honestly a pretty interesting amount, because if you look at it and you say 200 million times 0.0, let's just say they sell it at 57. 200 million, or at 57 cents, 200 million is 114, or 200 million tokens is $114 million at 57 cents. Assume they unloaded it at 58, right? Or if they're doing it, what does that tell you? That seems awfully within the range of the amount that the settlement was disclosed for. If they were to agree, they had 30 days to agree to it and make a payment, and the SEC has 60 days for an appeal from the time that Judge Annalisa Perez made that finding. So that's an interesting amount indeed for what Ripple is deciding to send over. Hey Wallet, I appreciate that. Says, I love your videos, I never miss an update. I really do appreciate that. I don't expect many people now. 10:37 a.m. Like I said, I have my reasons for doing this live. I thought it would be a little more transparent. So do make sure to hit that like button so YouTube does recommend this live. I would greatly appreciate it. I still plan on doing my live at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as well. My son had a GI appointment that went great this morning, and then we have his physical therapy at 4 p.m. today. So I should be good to do the live this evening as well. This is just kind of an impromptu way to put this update out. So let's see here. We'll go over XRP, we'll go over the reading, and then we'll take a look at the Crypto Fear and Greed Index, and then we'll obviously as well, maybe not obvious to some, we'll take a look at Bitcoin as well. Vado, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 3 months plus with the XRP Meteor. Greatly appreciate that. And thank you to the ones who have straddled in here. I greatly appreciate it. So do make sure to hit that like button so YouTube does recommend this update or this live. It'll allow new and older users to find their way to the community. So I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Yeah, Bitcoin's cup and handle is massive. It is a massive cup and handle. It sure is. There's no guarantee we're going to go down. I actually would hope for the up route, but I'm just preparing as if we're going to go down for a potential interesting move. Mark says, good morning, Tom. Missed a few days. Heart needed some recovery time. Ready to watch this move. Excellent, Mark. Excellent. Good to know that you got a little bit of recovery in your back now. I'm glad to see you in here. Trading with J-Ride, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XRP 589 Moon Badge. Pump Master Flash, you see this, Tom? Oh, I do see it. I see the massive cup and handle. I've had it drawn out, the cup and handle, for some time on Bitcoin. Well, we had it drawn out. I think I might have, because we've got the cup, we've got the handle filled. Well, we're trying to fill it. Now, the problem is, though, with the way that we're building this, that drop down coming around like this, we don't want to invalidate the handle, though. We're building something big. There's no doubt about that. We're building something big. The problem is, it looks like Bitcoin wants to come down farther. Like, in my own opinion, if Bitcoin doesn't come up in a hurry over 62,261, like, that's a big area now. Like, that's a big area for Bitcoin. We've got an even bigger area. Actually, we're right on that area. I didn't realize we had come into this point now. It's right. Ooh. That's been a major area of resistance support there as well. But yeah, we had a cup that filled a short-term one as well. But if we take this out into a wider time frame, Bitcoin's working on a very big cup and handle. We speculated on this, that this is the handle right now. And it's a megaphone pattern, some could call it, on the outside of the handle. Broadening wedge, whatever you want to call it. Or whatever your interpretation is. I'm not here to tell you what, to believe. But we've been working on this for some time now. Is this handle, is it going to stay formed? I think that 54K is a nice target here if Bitcoin doesn't just push up now. I think 54K would throw a lot of people off. But all it would really do is reconsolidate the uptrend here at 53,000. Yeah, 54. I think 54K is actually a nice spot here for Bitcoin if this is actually a cup and handle. And it's going to play out truthfully. I think that would be a perfect hit right there. I think that would be an absolutely stellar hit at 54K roughly. I do. So we'll see what Bitcoin decides. I'm taking this out of the way. There's just too much stuff here. Some of this stuff I don't need. Like this. I don't want that. I know that's a pivot point, but it's too much. I think this is what we watch. That 53,979. Daily looks not too great here. The 200-day in the daily is right at 59,589 right now. We're below it. So in a daily sense, we're looking a little bearish here. Overall, it looks like it could use a drop down a little bit farther. And if this happens, like I'm saying, that cup and handle is going to be exacerbated. Because now it's going to get the level of support, and then that could be where it bases the rally off of. But it's massive. And it gets us up to, I already have the targets up here. That's how you get up to these levels up above. Depending on where we break out of the handle, it could be anywhere from 111,000 to 139,000, depending on if Bitcoin does break bullish out of this cup and handle, because the base of the cup here, it's a pretty interesting move. And let's go in real time. So if you measure this out, we go all the way down to the base. Now let's say Bitcoin breaks out. It's speculative. But let's say the handle, we'll just use this as a base measurement. We'll use this as a base measurement. To get above the resistance on the opposite side of the handle, or I mean on the cup, you have to be over 67,720. So let's say we straddle, and this is where we decide to break out. We delete these numbers, we delete this, and we delete this. Right now it's suggesting a breakout of the cup and handle, if it goes out where we say farther down in time, is 118,000. That's not us being facetious. That's not us trying to con anybody. That's not me trying to get views. That's me simply saying that's the technical breakout if this cup and handle breaks bullish. And you can go farther back even and look at it from a slightly different dynamic, which some do, but I like it set up the way that I have it. And I personally believe that's what's going on. Get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of the noise in the chart, get rid of this. Yeah, so that's what we're looking at, and that's why right now, unless we were to break down that support structure I've talked about, very bullish for Bitcoin. You can be very bullish within a bearish short-term cycle. Don't forget that. There's corrective waves before you have big moves up. So am I surprised that the market collapsed? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't like to talk in the past tense, but if you're new, we telegraphed this move for XRP to 55.8 cents for days. I put it in my title. Did he actually poop? Oh, so he did kick me out for a reason. He literally, I opened the door and he said, I'm done with my appointment. I'm good. I know he is. So, a lot of stuff to discuss here. We'll take a look at what we need to do in order to stop this drop to 49.8 cents. And every reason why it could actually make that drop. So make sure to hit that like button so YouTube does recommend this. I greatly, greatly appreciate each and every one of you. We've got to timestamp this. and I'll catch you on the other side of the intro. Good morning, 10:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Wednesday, August 28th, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So I promise I'm not here to scare anybody. I am here to give you a transcending moment to where you don't look at bullish or bearish, you just look at the charts in front of you. You don't worry about all the noise. You don't worry about the emotion. You don't worry about the possibility of FOMO and all this other nonsense. You simply pay attention to the charts. You pay attention to the charts and you take away all the noise. You can look at this from a non-biased perspective. Like I said in the live yesterday, for anybody who was here, I'm apologizing for talking in the past tense. Right before I logged off, I said, I'm doing the homework for you. We have a small gap up near 58.7 cents. And actually, it was a little bit lower. I put it up a little too high on the way out. That gap was actually around 58,000. We came down, back up, came down. We filled this gap now. We filled the gap. We could even say maybe 57.9 was the gap if we want to look at it. But we have a moment here where we would need to get past 58.52 and hold. We talked about the gap area at 57.9 when we were under 56 yesterday. We filled this FVG gap now. The fair value gap has been filled. So now the 3 hourly, we're getting rejected there at 58.5, which is the 20-day, which was our one chance of not having a death cross in the 3 hourly. We've already confirmed a death cross here in the 2 hourly. And that rejection further exacerbates it. The death cross in the 2 hourly simply means a short-term pattern flip. We were able to project the move down to 55.6. We said 55.8, but we said the 2018 support is what it was going to hit, or the resistance, and try to act as a layer of support. I just don't like the volume portfolio that came back in. We had small amounts of volume in the 2 hourly, nothing extravagant at all. You want to see much bigger volume. Like we would have liked to have seen a spike like back here, where we got like 13 million in this 2 hourly. And this is based on the Bitstamp chart, but this is universal when you start to see the flow of volume. And then if you start looking at it back here, yeah, we did have a push, but you're talking about 3 million. That's 1/4 the volume we had even earlier on when we had a nice substantial push up. So I'm not seeing anything that's making me feel like, oh my God, we're ready to reverse back up in a hardcore fashion. We did the dead cat bounce that we expected. Now we get some real evidence. We get some real evidence of here of what's going to happen. You want to get through that. So now, if we don't hold, that's where it gets dicey. The groundwork has been laid. You know, all of the hard labor has already been done. And now all you have to do is sit back and watch the technical analysis, and you can figure this out for yourself. Even if you're not a seasoned veteran, if we lose that 56.6 cents, we have a technical target of 49.4 cents roughly. That's what I'm watching. Very closely, that's what I'm watching, because what we've done, and some will say, well, Tom, that's a short term, but it's an ascending formation. If it breaks out of it, you got to have the consolidation and the correction. So that's what I'm basing this on. I'm basing it on the fact that the 2 hourly, we've got this death cross that is confirmed. We got a rejection. We got a rejection at the death cross, and we're on a very slippery slope here. I'm just saying. We are on a very slippery slope here, and unless we catch some volume in a very short amount of time, we have to look at the bottom line here of where we can drop and what can happen and how we can invalidate it. So we've looked at the drop point. Only 24 people have hit the like button. Wow. If you're watching, please hit that like button. We're almost done here, so I won't keep your time much longer, I promise. Tom, do you think it will be a quick wick down to 49 then a bounce back, or do you think there is more downside? Probably. If it does do a drop down to 494, you will have a quick bounce back. It won't be all the way back up to 57. Likely that 518 resistance, you would have a bounce back too. And then you'll deal with the psychological level at 50 after that. If it if it does bounce down, oh yeah, I understand you here, George, and thanks for being in Tom's Armory for 1 month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. But being present, I also need your help by hitting the like button, otherwise my content doesn't go around. And then there's little reason to do a live instead of an update, to be honest. If no one's hitting the like button, my content would go around better in the update, and I need to reach as many people as possible so that they can see what's going on. What would clear the path for us to hold? Very simple. We spoke about it. One path would have been to get above that 58.5 and start pushing up. But the real path, and I hate to say it, the real path for XRP to invalidate this structure, you have to get over 62.28 cents to invalidate this incompletion, this bearish feel. But just in like the small feeling in the head, the only way to not have this happen is to hold 56.6 cents. So come back up and retake 62.2 to invalidate this thesis. And then ultimately to confirm that invalidation, you have to not only go over 62.28, you'd have to clear 63.6, and then you confirm that invalidation. Right now, it doesn't look like that's what we're doing. It didn't feel like that this morning. It certainly doesn't feel like it now. But we could hold 56.6, and this could just be a last. So how to not have this happen? Have this quick retest, right, at 56.6 and fly out of here. Other than that, if we come through and get a rejection, that's the technical drop out of this formation. So how do we stop this from happening? Pray that there's a lot of volume that comes in the positive direction and it stops this move before it happens. That's the only thing you can do. Other than that, you prepare, because the charts are speaking a bearish momentum. That's how we were able to switch our thought process 72 hours before the drop, and we're able to pinpoint it identical to where it was going. We know, Tom. Click that like button, good people. Yes, George. I know you know. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I appreciate you, George. I do. Greatly. So Bitcoin, same thing. It looks like that. I think 53,979 is what we're targeting. I'm going to get rid of 56,308. Even though that's a pivot layer, if I'm being honest, I think we're targeting that uptrend. I really do. I think this is a bear flag. And even though we've got some possibilities here, I just think that Bitcoin still, I don't know. It doesn't give me the feel that the market has done what it needs to do yet. Like I said last night, I was thinking that that was more of just to get more people in the market. Yeah, see, this is all speaking now. It may speak to that, but if it breaks up, it could also speak to the fact that it could come near, you know, back towards 64 to 65. We are a little oversold in the 2-hourly, but it's pushing back. Well, it broke out of the oversold. Remember, my charts are inverted on the RSI, so it looks like it's overbought right now, but it's really heading into oversold. So we're kind of stuck in no man's land is the bottom line. 56.6 cents is your last ditch support for XRP before a much bigger drop. And you don't really, well, no, I can't say that. 56.6, then you could double bottom at 55.8 region, because that's the 2018 resistance that's attempting a flip to support. So technically, if you lose 56.6, it initiates a short-term drop, an immediate drop, to 55.8. And if that's lost, it opens up the door to the technical drop to 49.4. So basically, you lose 56.6, you're signaling a drop to 49.4. If you lose the 55.8 2018 resistance that's acting as support for the first time in 6.5 years, that would confirm the drop to 49.4. So it is by level. So you're having a little bit of an expansion here if it were to break down. So it's not an immediate end result. And then before I leave, I want to talk about this. We already talked about the bear cycle this morning. I want to talk about this with Ripple. So Ripple ejects 200 million XRP into unknown. What's happening? And the fact that we have as well is not just this happening. We also have the end of the month. We have the Ripple escrow dump. They take out 1 billion each month on the first of every month. And then they normally lock up anywhere between 700 and 800 million, but we'll see. But they've already taken, look at 200 million XRP. And we haven't even got to the end of the month yet, into the beginning of the next. So Ripple ejects 200 million XRP into unknown. What's happening? And the only other thing to talk about before I read this is, make sure to hit that like button. Look in the video description below and our pinned comments if you're trying to trade XRP. Other than that, you can Join Tom's Army if you want to join and pay it forward. Other than that, I'm not talking about donations or anything today until we get into tonight's live, if I even do. But you guys know what to do. So Ripple ejects 200 million XRP into unknown. What's happening? So Ripple shovels 200 million XRP. So blockchain behemoth Ripple Labs, based in San Francisco, has made a staggering transfer of 200 million XRP coins. And this fact has been shared by the Whale Alert cryptocurrency tracker on the X platform. And I didn't put this in my title because I'm going to read this separately as well and share this in a small update today as well. The XRP transfer caught the eye of the cryptocurrency community, who shared their takes as to the nature and the goal of this transaction. Overall, XRP whales have been quite active over the last 24 hours, as Whale Alert noticed 2 other transfers, each carrying 100 million XRP. Overall, close to 400 million XRP coins have been transferred in the past 16 hours. Ripple shovels 200 million XRP. According to the above-mentioned data source, Ripple ejected a mammoth 200 million XRP chunk, sending it to an anonymous cryptocurrency wallet approximately 16 hours ago. The community unleashed wave of comments under the X post, making suggestions as to where this money was sent by the cryptocurrency Decacorn. Some believes the company is simply dumping these hundreds of millions of XRP into the markets as the coin's price is going down. That sounds pretty stupid, though, the ones who say that, because if you take 200, let me put it this way. If you take 200 million XRP off of the exchange and put it into an unknown wallet or transfer it from Ripple to an unknown wallet, if it's in a wallet, it's not being sold. If it would have said Ripple transfers 200 million from Ripple to crypto exchange XNX, yeah, then they're looking to cash it out. This speaks to something different. They transferred $118.9 million worth at the time. That sounds more like the $125 million fine range. So the question is that for the, did they agree to it, and now they're waiting on what the SEC decides in the next couple of weeks? Several other commentators assume that Ripple needs to pay the fine to the SEC as ruled by U.S. Federal Judge Annalisa Torres. The fine constitutes $125 million, while the 200 million XRP in question are the equivalent of $118,960,896. The judge ruled this fine to be paid instead of the $2 billion fine requested by the Securities and Exchange Commission for Ripple. The XRP-focused explorer BitHump has tracked the transaction to another Ripple-affiliated wallet, which received the 200 million XRP. As mentioned above, Whale Alert spotted 2 more transactions carrying similar amounts of crypto, 100 million XRP worth 94,325,284 XRP. These transfers were valued at $56,461,096 and $53,656,730 at the time they were made. Both transactions were made between anonymous cryptocurrency wallets. However, according to the aforementioned BitHump, the 100 million chunk was made between wallets associated with Ripple. The 94.3 million XRP transfer was made between unknown cryptocurrency addresses. In the past day, the XRP price took a plunge of almost 6%, falling from 59.8 cents to the 56.396 level. By now, the coin's price has rebounded a little and is changing hands at 57.971 cents. So what do we make of that, folks? That's what I wanted to share. And then the crypto, and then I'm going to let this go because I got stuff to do this morning, but I wanted to make sure to touch base. Crypto fear and greed index. Right now, we're back in fear at 30. Yesterday, neutral at 48. So, and right now, I mean, if you're looking for a real signal, we're in a very, I mean, these are the consolidatory spots that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy if you were trying to find the market at these spots. Now, there is something to be said here. If we can hold 56.6 cents, we've got some upside potential as well. So just because it's giving the feel of a 71% fact of a drop, that's still about a 30% chance that we can rise. Yes, it's a bearish 2-hour candle. Yes, it's another possible bearish 2-hour candle on top of it. Yes, there's a death cross, but we've still held 56.6. So if you need some hope to go out of this, you hold 56.6. You technically could open up a short-term burst to 63.4. It would take a lot of testicular fortitude, but it's not impossible. Have a blessed morning, everybody. I've got some stuff to do, and I really appreciate everybody who tuned in for this 25 minutes. I really enjoyed doing it. I hope you gained something out of it. And if you want to join me on copy trading before I leave, Nope, I noticed nobody got a notification for this live. I don't know why. But we did good. We did good. I promise we did good. If you want to copy trade, I'm still actively looking for our next trade. All you have to do is go into the video description below and our pinned comment. Actually, there's no pinned comment yet. But the video description below, you can copy trade me by simply following the link. And they have no KYC or VPN at HOTCOIN. Very low spot fees. Leverage trading, you have to deal with the fees on all exchanges. But it's still low in relevancy to other exchanges. But you will download it via the link, put money into the futures account in USDT, then go into the copy trade, type in XRP. You can find me here, total PNL 235. So a $100 challenge, we're at $335 right now. Did a lot of testing on this, and there's 25 people following. Haven't made a trade here in the last couple days now, watching the market shake out. And then I'll make my next trade. But right now, that's where we stand. If you would like to join, it shows our rollover on our ROI is 46%, but that's based on account value as well. So that's what's going on there. So I hope to see all of you making the proper moves, doing it from an emotionless base, and being able to do this from a standpoint of, you know what you want to achieve in the future, but you don't get caught up so much in the ebb and flows in the day-to-day, but you stay in tune with the day-to-day when we go through the updates. But remember, there's a long-term pattern at play here. The short-term micro movements end up getting a lot of people away from their macro feel. So don't let that happen to you. Pay attention. Feels a little bearish to me. And you know, I gave you every reason why I think it can go where it needs to go, and I gave you the reasons how it could invalidate this drop as well. I showed you where Bitcoin could go on this cup and handle if it plays bullish, but I still think even if Bitcoin plays bullish, you need to get some kind of bounce from somewhere, and it makes all the sense in the world on this very bullish cup and handle to bounce off of 53,979 area and then start to push up and outward. So that's what I think. Do I think it's the last shakeout? I never know. You'll never know if it's the last shakeout until it's not, or until it is. I should say. You won't know if it's the last shakeout until it is. And by that time, it'll already be too late. So you plan accordingly. I will say this, if 55.8 cents isn't lost, this could be the last shakeout. If we go down to 49, probably not. I'm just being honest. Probably not. Well, probably in time, if we don't hold the 2018 resistance. Remember, when you sell resistance and hold support, if this ends up being a resistance at 55.6, that certainly would probably lead to the fact you'd probably have to now retest support down at 41.2 cents before the end of the year. If we come down to 49.4, I find it hard to believe we're not coming all the way back to 41.2. I don't want it to, because I really want this to be the breakout, but I'm going to show every reason why it can go up. And I'll also show every reason why it can go down as well. And then you need to make an educated and informed decision. 95% of the people who watch this, who look at the update or just the title, will say, oh, he's predicting a bearish drop. Don't even watch the update. Yada, yada, yada. And then, you know, that's what happens. That's a bold statement. Yeah. That's just what I'm seeing, Lee. I need to read your comment, though, because you talked about the 125 million. Now, I got a question for all of you. You love to know nonsense. I just have a quick question. In your honest opinion, do you think this is going to go up and down? And do you want me to smoke a relaxation with you before I leave? That's the honest question. I can spend a few more minutes and we can talk. And, you know, we can just hang out for a minute. Or I can just do this on my own. And either way, I'm fine with it. I'm from the UK, Tom. It's 4 p.m. here. Excellently. Excellent. Smoke, stay smoke. Hey, I like hearing that. I actually like the fact that there's only 50 people here today. You know why? Because it gives me a more personable feel. So, it really does. So I'll stay and relax with everybody. We'll talk about what we think the outcome is going to be here. I'll try to do a quick share myself of the live and see if it... Can you guys tell me when I do this? If you get a notification when I share it like I just did, let me know if a notification comes through. Just now? Okay, so you just did. Excellent. Julie, what kind did we buy this time of the relaxation? Do you remember? And we'll look at silver, and we'll look at gold. We'll look at all of it before I leave, since we're going to relax together. He asked if two... Yes, I did ask that as well. Huh? Oh, yeah, this time it was black or Blanco. So it's like a sherbet mixed with, I think, blackberry and gelato. Yeah, I can run down gold for sure, trading with J-Rod. A $10 donation, holy smokes. So you did get the notification when I did it that way. Okay, so I can do this myself after the live starts then. So I'll have to remember when the live starts to share a notification like this as well, just so that everybody can see this. I'm very happy to see that that actually worked now. I'm very happy to see that. Yes, Elon Musk talked about silver, and he said, and we all know, everybody, remember, the reason he talked about it and said it was undervalued, they have to tell you what's going to come next. Remember what Tesla just announced? Anybody in the audience know? Well, I'll tell you. They announced a new battery that's going to be made of mostly, they're going to need a bunch of silver. A unorthodox amount of silver in this next phase. So it's not going to be able to be available to retail. There's not enough silver. So it's going to be a very interesting phase there. So let's get into the other parts of this then. Let's get into the other parts. First Majestic Silver is down 5%. Excellent. This is what I want. I want to see some of these start going on. I know B2 Gold's down today. 275 right now. We talked about a break point here, that you have to be careful here if it breaks through. So we came through the 278 right now. We're getting, it's a little oversold in the 30, but this is where, this is where you have to be careful, because we could definitely take profits now. Around 278 is where the profit taking is. So now that it came back through, you have it from 241, take that, and then you can reevaluate it. So my personal suggestion would be, gold's down 18 bucks. We've got this dot cross in the 30-minute. Looks pretty strong. Could we get a bounce back? I don't know, because we got rejected at the technical target at 2,526. We've got a nice stationary resistance. We've got what looks like we're trying to build out a formation here. It started here. We came through. I don't think we're quite done with the drop. Even from a short-term perspective, it looks like 2,487 is where we want to go. So that being the case, where would we want to go with here? Well, when we made the rise up, remember, if it doesn't break bullish, we take that same dynamic and we take it for a downward target. So we take the downward ride instead, remember. So now let's say this is the rejection. Technical target's right around $2.68. So it looks like it's creating an inverse head and shoulders. So I would say, if this is an inverse head and shoulders, I would say the technical drop's going to be about $2.61. If that, it's actually going to go down to this inverse head and shoulder setup. And that's where you probably are going to have to play this. Now, in the immediate short term, let's look at the shorter time frames. Getting pretty oversold in the 5 minutes. So at some point, we're probably going to have a back test at 278. So you can make a decision now, or if you see it get rejected at 278, if you want to unload. And that's how you're going to have to approach this. Because we had a nice move up. And we talked about this exact level. You could make a decision whether or not you wanted to hold through it or not. You bought at 241. You're up 33 cents right now per share. For me, it's up over $1,000 right now at 274. Just like $1,028. So I am trying to see if it comes back up in the 5 minute. Because I don't like to sell on the first hasty retreat. I like to sell on when it gets the rejection. So 278 likely is where we're going to end up probably tugging back to. It's not guaranteed though. These sometimes just fall off very quickly. See how we weren't able to get any kind of momentum real quick here? So you could have a quicker overzealous drop quicker. So I'm just telling you, we've talked the bullish side for a few days. Now it's actually come through and it's looking a little bearish. So I'm targeting around $2.61. So Until further notice, $2.61 is where I would look at. $2.78 is definitely a possibility. This could definitely be a fake out as well. But there's plenty of room for you right now. You're up about 14-15% still. So have you also heard any noise about November 25th XRP and all the noise ends and we go up, Tom? No, I don't listen to all that bullshit, to be honest with you. I appreciate the question and asking, but that's all I ever hear. Everybody always tells me, Tom, this date, that date. That's all I ever hear from it. I can't deal with it. No. All those dates mean nothing to me, honestly. And I just think people say stuff so they can get a bigger following and just so they can feel relevant. To me, that's all bullshit. To give a date and say it all ends here, it all ends there, it really doesn't mean anything to me. That's why I don't talk about the dates. They're irrelevant, in my opinion. That's just how I feel. Not saying that you can't have fun with it, because we like to have fun with it, but right now, silver, $29.30, the ultimate pivot point. Several days we've talked about this, because if we break through this, instead of that massive move up to $34, even though it's not a huge massive move, if we break down here, folks, remember Elon Musk said that for a reason. What's the likelihood we'll come back down to the local support? You can't make this up. The technical drop down is to the downtrending support in this pattern perfectly on a breakdown to 25.71. You can't make this shit up when this happens. You cannot make it up. So if it's going to break down for silver, I mean, I'm going to assume that would be a spot that it's going to go. That's on a breakdown, right? But, you know, that's just me speculating, because technically, you know, you should have had this weight. But I'm saying if it goes all the way back down to support, that's how it measures out to the bottom. But technically, if it breaks here, we're looking at about a correction of $27.56, and we still wouldn't invalidate this structure. So that's the two choices here. If we break 29.30, we'd go to 29.756 or 25.71. With silver, gold we've looked at, B2 gold, we're in the process of paying attention to this movement right here because it's everything right now. What do you mean, why would silver go down? Had an overzealous run up. It's in the consolidatory phase. It's manipulated. There's so many reasons I could give you why. Just because it's a certain asset doesn't mean it's not going to go down. See, that's where everybody should appreciate what I do. No matter how good something looks, I know where it can go. No matter what somebody says, don't you think to buy the rumor, sell the news? Or sell the rumor, buy the news in this case with Elon Musk? You sell the rumor here with silver, you take the overzealous breakdown because he just talked about it. And what is everybody telling me every day they come in here now? Silver's got nowhere to go but up because Elon Musk talked about it. I disagree. I think now would be the chance to bring it down, wipe everybody out that thinks that silver's good, everybody who took out a quick position in paper or in a silver stock, and then drop it. See, this is the time that I think before a rate cut, gold and silver could get that correction. Exactly what I spoke of when they announced it. Quick run up, and then you're going to sell the news and sell the rumor after, and then you're going to buy the news after. Oh, everything is absolutely. And Sean, welcome in, my main man from Maine. And I hope that answered the question. Everything's just so manipulated. And I think that if you're looking at the amount of silver that is going to have to be bought up by Tesla for these new batteries, don't you think it's in the best interest for Tesla to see about a 20 to 25% drop in silver real quick, or 10, 15% at least? Get it down to the mid $20 range so that they have a better buy-in. That's just how I look at it. And gold, don't we think that, yes, we're about to have a rate cut, but isn't this an advantageous moment instead of bringing it up past 25, 26, which was our technical target that stopped it, 26, 16, instead of going there? Don't we think to shake out a few people, even if it's just a small drop to 24.87 would be warranted? Just because we've got so many overzealous people. Now, V-shaped recovery could trap some in, and then if it pushes up, obviously this is a moot point. But we're looking at it on the thesis of if this does continue to break down. Gold is being very resilient at the $2,500 level. So that would have to break in order for this to make its way down. So, but yeah, a lot of exciting stuff happening. The dollar is just going to continue to be in decline over time. It's going to have an overzealous rebound, though, at some point. Not because it's strong, but just because of that drop. So if I'm guessing gold, silver goes down, the US dollar comes up to about, fills a nice gap at 102.18. US dollar to 102.18 if this happens. So a little appreciation in the dollar makes it look like gold, silver is depreciating, but it's not. It's just the US dollar is being overinflated. So if we fill a gap with the US dollar, it's around 102. 102.18. I don't know if I would say altcoins are on sale. I kind of disagree with that. I think they were on sale when altcoins like XRP went down sub 40 and everything was within that range. But to say something's undervalued when we just had a drop down, it was undervalued when we had this first drop down for XLM to 7.7. I don't think it's undervalued at 9.4 because we haven't established a new area of support after the drop. Now, we don't know if it has to come back down here for a double bottom. We don't know if now it can finally bounce off of this support and then it is in this moment undervalued. I would say, though, we're probably going to start melting down, assuming we do get a correction in the US dollar. And with everything we're hearing across the news, the media, for me, I feel like we're going to drop. I'm not going to sugarcoat shit. I'm just going to tell you how it is. And if people don't want to watch, that's great. I just would rather know the truth. I wish there was somebody like me when I was trying to learn. I do. That's right. The person who talked about Ripple, you are 100 freaking % on the money, and I'm glad somebody said it. I even did one of my titles a couple days ago, so everybody could get on the same page. I was really serious about this. Where was this at with Ripple? And I even said, XRP never buy if it pumps while Bitcoin and Ethereum dump. 85% of the time signals crypto crash. XRP, this is a disaster on the verge of a 5.7% drop to retest 2018 resistance. Exactly what we did. Where's the Ripple one? It was alive. Where the hell? I don't know where it's at. I did a live and I literally titled it with Ripple dumps. Did they get moved off of YouTube? Wow. I think my video got deleted. That's interesting. I put out a live when Ripple decided to dump, and I said, I don't know if any of you remember, but in the video I put down that Ripple uses retail as exit liquidity. That's what I put. XRP retail used as exit liquidity. Ripple dumps X amount of tokens as we hit. It was when we hit 63.5 cents. So maybe it was last week I might have put it. Who knows? But I did a live and we talked about that. Man, now it's bothering me. It's got to be back here. Maybe I didn't go back far enough. We talked 11 days ago, too, about how this could end bad. I can't believe it. Unless I'm just missing it. I'll be damned. I think YouTube deleted my Ripple video. That's crazy. I knew that I wasn't getting comments on it anymore. I just never looked. I was getting a lot of comments on it after I put it out. Some good, some bad. Some were calling me an asshole. But that video got deleted. How is that possible? Oh, that's the one from last night? It didn't load it? Was that the title from last night's video? Oh, well, maybe that's what it is then. No, that one last night, I remember I talked about how you never buy XRP when Bitcoin and Ethereum are dumping. And how 85% of the time it leads to an overwhelming dump. Oh yeah, like right now, we bought some back at 38 and we sold some at 64 through the XRP Bitcoin pairing this time up. That's why I was so happy. I made a few $1,000s off that move alone. Some of the audience made more than me, some made less. And that was on a spot trade through the XRP Bitcoin pairing, which is attainable on HOTCOIN. So, you know, you guys are more than welcome to join me in that aspect as well. I wasn't intending on dragging this out an hour, but I may drag this out an hour because I like the back and forth we're having. I don't need donations to stay on, folks. I just need a good positive back and forth where I feel like we're getting something off of each other. You know, my time's valuable just as much as yours is. And I feel like if we make the most of our time, we really do something special. We've been front running this drop here. So if anybody came in at the start of this, I preached the drop. So if anybody was in, they could have sold and they can reevaluate now. You know, it's already come down while we've been on a little bit here. And it just seems to be getting worse by the minute since I've been on. We're not up at 57.5 anymore. We've dropped about almost 2% now since I've been on. So, oh yeah, we're just on top, depending on the time frame you're talking about with the 200. So if we go down farther, we've already invalidated the rise above because we have a death cross here that was confirmed with the rejection. 3 hourly, we're going to put in a death cross now with the rejection and the 3 hourly. Unfortunately, we're coming through right now the 56.6, which opens up the door to 55.8. And the technical target out of this is 49. It's actually a little bit higher than 49.4. And guys, if you always ever wonder, like, how can I predict the numbers? It's because I put the charts out there. Let the patterns tell me 49.6 cents. I apologize for the earlier misinformation, but 49.6 cents is the technical target if we lose 56.68. But that's only a signal. Remember, you can only confirm this signal if you lose the 2018 resistance that's acting as support right now. Now, see how this all ties in? I gave the warning out a few days ago that XRP was going back down to the 2018 resistance as support. A 5.8% or 6% drop, I kept saying in my headlines. I got criticized because it initially, instead of dropping, it went up 2.1%, which was the rejection I talked about in the same update, but nobody wants to talk about it because they only read the headline. But now here we are. And then I get the apologies yesterday. I guess you were right. It came down to the resistance support line, but there's no way it can go to 49.4. Completely disregarding what we just talked about and how that actually played out. So now remember, the only way for this to confirm the drop to 496 is first we had to lose the 56.6 to signal it, and you confirm it with the break and rejection at 55.6 cents, confirming that this is still resistance since 2018. And then we have a technical drop down to 49.6 cents that can't be changed unless it's a quick wick down past 55.6, and then it comes back through, but then you wouldn't get a rejection there, so it can invalidate it. But that's what we're looking at, and that's why when somebody says, Tom, what do you think is going to happen? Well, it's not exactly that simple of what's just going to happen. And now look, B2 Gold, remember how I said don't sell at 274 if you're planning on selling it? At least give it the justification to go back up in the 1 minute, get the proper rejection area. So now you can make a decision. It's not at 273 or 274. You can say 276. We're looking to see if it were to get a rejection at 278. You know, if you're looking to get rid of it. And that's only because we fell outside of a structure. And now the technical target is technically $2.68. But it could come as low as $2.61 in my opinion on an overzealous wick. Let's say it does come up here and it gets a rejection. You could sell it and then you could rebuy it back for almost a 4% discount. So let's say, and I know it seems minute, but you also got to remember it could bounce back up and this could be a fake out. So that's why it's a risk. But this is why somebody would sell it if that's their route. I'm not saying that's mine. Let's say you have 2,000 shares. You sell it at $2.78 for $5,560. And now at $2.68, it only costs $5,360. So you see the difference? It costs you about $224 less. Now you go $224 times $2.68. No, not times. Divided by $2.68. you'd get an additional 83.5 shares just by selling it at 278 and rebuying at 268 without adding any more money. Now, that's if it were to work out like that. I've seen it a billion times over where it looks like that's how it's going to play out, and then it just rallies right back up. So I'm just showing you what could be done, but also the risk involved as well. So right now it looks like it's making that move up to try to retest the $2.78. Gold, silver's on a very facetious spot here where it looks like gold could in time come down and retest. Before the rate cuts, I think it would be in our best interest to retest this 2,488. But if it does bounce back up and breaks 2,526, then we're just off to 2,616 in the short term. With silver down 2.1% today, I think it should be coming down after Elon Musk said what he said. Sell the news in this event, or sell the rumor and then buy the event itself. So what I would say is it looks like silver, and this just is me. If it breaks $29.30, I think it wants to come down to $27.56. Or I suppose if it wants to be less overzealous, $28.67. But either way, I think that's what it's trying to do. It's trying to confirm an inverse head and shoulders, and I think it's warranted to come to either of those two levels. It could very well be a Batman. But silver's on a 44-year cup and handle. It's been building this cup and handle for 44 years. So don't think that we're just going to give up right now. It's got a long ways to go still, ladies and gentlemen. But as far as this goes, I got to go, everybody. I got to go deal with stuff. T's got his physical therapy in a few hours. We got his feeding we got to do right now. We just got back from the GI right before I did this live. So we'll update everything in a little bit here as well tonight. XRP Healthcare, I love. My staking ends in a month. There's no more staking because of the lack of circulation of tokens going around of XRP Healthcare. They're losing their circulating supply very quickly as they're running out of tokens for holders. So at a certain point, we're going to have that crescendo moment. It could come all the way back down to 2 cents, and then we'll see what happens. It could come lower, we don't know, but the supply shock is about to happen. The supply shock is about to happen. Batman, oh, he is a villain. Especially in crypto and trading. But we'll go over more of this in a little bit. But I got the signal from Julie. I really do have to go. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in for the last 53